a brilliant place to play, and they deserve more. They deserve a result.
Leeds with 3,000 fans tucked away up in the gods as both sets of players take a knee before kick-off. And we are underway. The first Premier League game of the weekend, Newcastle against Leeds, live from St James's Park here. Darren Ambrose alongside me, James Fielden, for this one. And hopefully an entertaining game of football ahead of us. An early challenge from Joelinton there, taking down Stuart Dallas. Ayling with a long raking crossfield ball to the left, but too much for James. It flies over his head and out of play for a Newcastle throw.
I think if you look at Joelinton, I think that's what you have to do as a big player up front. You need to put yourself about, and it's something he hasn't really done too much. Let them know they're in a game, and he's already, first 15 seconds, put a challenge in on Stuart Dallas. So yeah, he needs to put himself about. Yeah,
Mike Dean let that one go. Dallas has been such an invaluable player to Leeds, hasn't he? Plays in so many different positions, and slotting in right back tonight. Ayling moving across one to centre half. No Pascal Strike after his red card last week, though he was only on the bench anyway. But no Diego Llorente, he is out. So Leeds have had to move the team around a little bit here. All is out of play. It's a throw into Newcastle in the right back position. We've played just short of 90 seconds. Newcastle 0, Leeds 0.
I think Dallas will get up and down, but I think they'll miss Ayling on the right hand side. I know he's having to fill in at centre half, but I think they'll miss his energy getting forward. So Dallas has a big job to try and push his team up and try and support Rafinha.
Throw in here for the home side, sent forward towards the halfway line towards Joelinton. Here's Alan Saint-Maximin, who holds on to the ball, runs away from a couple, then lays it back, and Newcastle nearly going all the way home, but a lovely turn away here by Isaac Hayden. Also midfielder playing at centre half here tonight, normally for Newcastle anyway, to throw in to the away side. 2 minutes gone. Ayling with the ball inside his own half here, into Calvin Phillips in midfield, very much a regular part of the England team now as well. He was playing in the Championship not so long ago. I was listening to a podcast earlier on that was suggesting his time in that midfield may even be numbered because of the rise to prominence of Jude Bellingham.
Very impressed with Calvin Phillips in the Euros. Every time I see him play, so much energy.
Ball forward here to Bamford, edge of the box. Early strike from Bamford, but comfortably over the top of the bar. Scored once so far this season in the draw at Burnley, netted very late on, 4 minutes from time to get them a draw there. 2 draws and 2 defeats so far for Marcelo Bielsa's men. Yeah,
I remember that goal. I don't think Patrick Bamford knew much about it. I think it hit him and just went in, and that was a speculative effort to say the least. But if you don't try these things, they're never going to come off. And you know, if he keeps getting in them positions, you know, he'll soon hit the target.
Ayling inside his own half here. Phillips drops to receive the ball, then plays it left to Firpo, who's signed from Barcelona. It's part of their major restructuring programme, shall we say. Shocked to see the lineup they'd put up against Bayern Munich in the Champions League earlier this week. The Spanish team a shadow of their former self. Newcastle losing it here in midfield, and Phillips is onto it, helps it forward, trying to get onto it was Rodrigo. Newcastle get it away, and now a free kick given by the referee to the home side, and their fans can breathe a sigh of relief.
That's what you get from Calvin Phillips. Any slight mistake in that centre midfield, he is on it like a flash, and you know he almost created a chance there for Leeds and ended up a free kick to Newcastle. But if you're going to take your time on the ball, the Newcastle midfield, Calvin Phillips will be there on your heels.
Leeds throw coming up here. Dallas went to take the ball off the fan who'd caught it, but in the end the fan tosses it over his head and has to be returned to him. It's back here with Ayling, and Leeds looking comfortable in possession here. Newcastle sitting a little bit further deeper at the moment, not pressing too highly, and Leeds happy to stroke the ball around.
Yeah, they're keeping possession in the back four, going from side to side, finding Calvin Phillips in the middle there. But this is what they have to do. Newcastle, once they win it with Almiron, with St Maximin, with Joe Ellington, they have to break, they have to counter. If you're going to sit deep, once you win that ball back, you have to break at speed, and it looked like they did that there, and Almiron's been brought down for a free kick.
Yeah, some suggestion that it may have been a yellow card offence as Almiron was away down the right hand side, but referee Mike Dean saying no. What do you want to see a bit more of from a player like Miguel Almiron, who has shown it in flashes, hasn't he? In only flashes, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, and I mean, them flashes, it's not enough for a player that seems to have a lot of ability. He works so hard, and that's why he gets a lot of support from the Newcastle supporters. He puts 100% in every single game, and that should be a given, but it's not always a given with players. But I just want to see a little bit more of end product, a bit more assists, a few more goals for a player that's got good ability.
Lascelles nods into the penalty area here. It doesn't quite drop for Joe Ellington. Away, and then a poor ball back, and Leeds could break out here with Dallas, but Joe Ellington has won it back again now. St Maximin on the left hand side, up against Ayling here. Which way will he go? He rolls it to the left hand side. Ritchie low ball in towards the near post, and Meslier comfortably goes down to his left hand side to gather the ball, and then overarm bowls it out straight away to Rafinha on the right hand side. Former Ren man trying to cut inside. He goes out, and it's a throw into Leeds on the halfway line.
You can just hear every time St Maximin gets the ball, you can just hear the crowd, that it lifts the crowd, it gets bums off seats, as they say. And Matt Richards, a good ball across the box. Joe Willock's looked at him as if you need to find me, but I think if you're in the box, you've got to make them runs. One gets across the goalkeeper, one goes round the back post, and you know, you can't just be too static. I think Joe Willock was a little bit static in the box there.
I think in a team like Newcastle that have been so stale and so, you know, constant in a negative way, I guess, for such a long time, the kind of standout player to have like St Maximin is the perfect kind of player, isn't it? Because he is the ultimate kind of exciting player that you're going to go and watch. Yeah,
and he looks a joy to manage, actually, if you think about it. He doesn't look like he's a problem to anybody.
Here he goes again. This time he tried to play in Joe Ellington, who'd come inside. The ball was outside, and in the end it was Longstaff that chased it, but he couldn't get there, and he's back in possession on the edge of their own penalty area with the captain Liam Cooper.
Yeah, I say that about St Maximin because we've seen other players at other clubs. When you're the main man, sometimes frustration gets the better of you, and you kind of look around as if I need help in this team. He doesn't seem like that. He just seems to love playing football, and you know, he seems to be a very popular member of the squad. So you know, that always helps, even when you're a player like him.
Rafinha popped it through the legs there of Ritchie, who almost pulled him down by the neck there. It is a free kick and a yellow card shown by Mike Dean, and groans of discontent from the home fans, but that looked like a yellow card tackle to me.
I think you're right. I think the groans are probably from the one previously that didn't get a yellow card for Leeds, but yeah, it was definitely, he stopped him in his tracks, he put his arm in his face, and it's a definite yellow card for me. I think the groans of the Leeds player not getting the card a few minutes prior.
Ritchie goes into the book, the first yellow card of the evening. And Rafinha down here holding his left eye. I think maybe received a poke in it. The physio's attending to him. Just put a bit of spring water in it just to try and freshen things up. So Bielsa parading up and down his technical area as he always does. The upturned water bucket there with the cushion on top for him to take a seat.
I do like Rafinha. I think he's a good player. I think he's got a lot of ability. He can come inside and outside. He's obviously in a bit of pain. He must have taken a finger into the eye there, as you said. So, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine. And you know, he's one of them players for Leeds that can make things happen. I do like how he plays.
Back underway, and Leeds a man down. Have just played it back here to keep possession until Rafinha can rejoin the action. He's on the pitch now. Has it on the right hand side. High ball forward to the edge of the penalty area. Rodrigo takes it on the chest, and he drops down to the floor, looking towards the referee, asking whether a penalty might be given, but Mike Dean unmoved. Anything in that?
Potentially. I think he's chested it down, and
it's a foul.
I think is Isaac Hayden's come straight into the back of him, so that's a foul in my book.
Play continues though. Newcastle have it here with Ritchie, who clips a high ball towards halfway. Ayling heads it back. Phillips. The question mark will be as to whether it was inside or outside the penalty area, but I'd probably say on first look that it was maybe just in.
It did look about a foot inside the box, and that's an interesting one. It's obviously early on, and Mike Dean probably doesn't want to give that call so early into the game, but it looked like Isaac Hayden come straight through the back and unfairly challenged him.
Ayling, lovely crossfield ball here. Firpo on the left hand side, his ball across is over Bamford, over Rafinha, over everyone. It's out of play for a Newcastle throw.
It's disappointing cross there at the end of a good move. Fantastic ball across, a 60-yard crossfield ball from Ayling. Disappointing cross in the end though.
All kinds of news coming out of the East Midlands tonight, not strictly Premier League news, but news that Nottingham Forest are about to appoint Steve Cooper as manager, who was previously at Swansea, and Derby are about to appoint administrators. All kinds going on up there. Here's Dallas.
Newcastle connection, obviously. Chris Hughton, disappointed to see him get sacked, but it was a bad run of form that Nottingham Forest were on, so hopefully Steve Cooper, if he is the man, can go in and change their fortunes around.
Yeah, Derby actually and Forest are the two teams who've been in the Championship the longest. It has been a long old slog for those. You remember Derby, the team in the Premier League, got the record low points tally, I think it was, wasn't it?
This job that Wayne Rooney's put himself into there, but I can't see him giving up.
If I remember rightly, when they were in the Premier League, the only win they got, the TV cameras actually missed the goal because they were showing a replay.
Sounds about right, doesn't it?
Summed up their season. Newcastle clearing the ball away here through Lascelles. He's back on the halfway line with Ayling. Leeds keeping possession. Knocked forward and it breaks here for Rodrigo. Edge of the box, Rodrigo cuts it across to Rafinha. Gets a touch on it. It's into the goalkeeper's hands, but had it been more powerful there from the Brazilian, it could easily have been 1-0 Leeds.
Brilliant break once again, pace, commitment, desire. They've got into the box with Rodrigo, and then Rafinha getting to the back post, who still looks like he's struggling with his eye, by the way. He still looks like he can't quite see properly, but the desire to get there in front of Matt Ritchie is what you want to see, but for me, I want to see it the other way round.
I'm not sure if that's an injury, if you want to call it that can be, well, certainly can't be run off, that can be shaken off really. It looks like a pretty painful one for him.
Yeah, they are painful. I've had one of them before myself, and it takes a good 5-10 minutes to get your eyesight back properly, but I can't see him wanting to come off with a little injury like that.
Cooper forward into midfield. It's touched on by Click but given away. Newcastle at the moment struggling to get out of their own half. Junior Firpo on the left, inside to Phillips, just outside the centre circle, plays it forward now to Bamford. In the right channel he finds Rafinha onto his trusty left foot, whips one in early, it goes all the way through, and Leeds United have an early lead. The man who had a poke in the eye has popped one into the corner, and more doom and gloom around St James's Park again. A fortunate goal it may be, they all count and they all go against Steve Bruce.
Absolutely fantastic cross this from Rafinha into the box. It was a cross. We said he can go inside and outside. He's come inside and he's done what every good wide player should do. If you're coming in on your stronger foot onto the left, hit it towards the back post. If it misses everyone, as it did, it goes straight into the goal, and absolutely brilliant. I don't think you can question the goalkeeper. He was sighted. He thought Rodrigo in the box was going to get a touch. Brilliant cross into the box that's ended up a goal.
The whip on that cross, along with the pace of it as well, was absolutely superb. And do you know what? I thought Rodrigo was going to try and touch it in, but the way he jumped over it was perfect.
I was just going to say that the role Rodrigo had in that goal can't be underestimated. He's unsighted the goalkeeper Darlow, who's kind of made him step one side, and he's just dummied it and jumped over it, and it's gone into the far corner. To have the awareness that he knew that was going to go in, brilliant from both of them.
Steve Bruce, the look on his face is not a good one. Plenty of Newcastle fans jumping up and down in front of us here, making their feelings known. And it was always only going to take a goal, wasn't it, for the atmosphere and mood to change. We saw plenty of shots of the fans actually on the TV monitors before the game. Smiles, happy faces, jumping up and down, beating the chest, looking forward to this one, but that's all gone.
It is. I just feel, just watching the first 15 minutes, if you're going to go down fighting. You're playing five at the back at home. I think you've got players, you've got Joelinton, St Maximin. Go with two up top, have a real good go, try and create some chances, if you're going to concede, score. Mentioned this earlier, so deep, only Saint-Maximin upfield, and he can't do that all on his own, so it's dire times at the moment.
15 minutes gone, Newcastle 0, Leeds United 1 here on Premier League Live. Remember, you can get in contact with us on Twitter at TalkSport Live is the Twitter handle for you to get in contact with us. We'll read out some of the best tweets as the night goes on. If Steve Bruce was to leave, and I think he's made it quite clear that he's not going to be leaving, what kind of coach should Newcastle be approaching given the squad they've got at their disposal?
You know what, I thought about this earlier. Firstly, as you said, I don't think Steve Bruce will be leaving anytime soon. Firstly, I don't think, like we said, the owner has no care really for the football club. Steve Bruce won't walk away. He's made that clear as well. He's got confidence that he can change it around. Whether he can, we don't know. I think Chris Wilder is a guy that would fit this absolutely perfectly. But on the flip side, I think he's someone who likes to be in full control of a football club, and I don't think he'll get that here. So I think Chris Wilder, given the experience, would fit in perfectly to Newcastle. I can see Steve Bruce being there for a long time still. Yeah,
I mean, this conversation is nothing new, is it? I mean, the whole of last season, Newcastle were such a turgid team to watch.
They were, yeah, and obviously they've started this season exactly the same way, and unfortunately it's not looking good at the moment for Newcastle. There's a long way to go, of course, but when you're conceding so many goals, and you're only above Norwich, who I feel will go down quite early in the season. It's a struggle.
But Newcastle can't keep a clean sheet. Only Southampton have kept fewer clean sheets since the turn of the year. Newcastle have kept 4. And, they don't give themselves a good platform to go on, albeit that goal they've just conceded was slightly different.
They don't. And listen, I think they've scored 3 in their last 4 Premier League games. So if you're scoring goals, that's a bonus. But we touched on the defence need to tighten up. And I looked earlier, in the last 7 games, 6 of them, they've conceded 2+ goals. That at home as well, by the way. And that's not good. When you're at home, you want to be tight and... but like we said, if you're not going to be, score more than them, and they're not at the moment.
Rafinha wide right, up against Ritchie here, back to the edge of the penalty area, where he's picked up by Mateusz Klich. The pole goes for goal, but it's easily caught by Darlow. And you can just feel the mood changing around here, can't you?
You can, and I was going to mention this about 5 minutes ago. When you think of Newcastle, St James's Park under the lights, you think atmosphere, and at the moment we can only hear the Leeds fans, and Newcastle, you can tell, are on edge. You can tell they're ready to either walk out or protest, or you can hear the boos already. And if you can hear that in the sounds, it's not good at the moment.
And even in one corner of the ground at the moment, there's a big disagreement going on between 2 Newcastle fans, police, stewards having to get involved here to pull them apart. Not the kind of start to the weekend that most people are after.
No, it's not. It's not good, but it's passion. I played up there, and they are the most passionate fans you could ever come across. And
they're in again here. Rafinha down the right-hand side. Ritchie got back against him to put it behind for a corner.
Yeah,
I was just think what's going to happen.
I was just going to say that they're so passionate. Sorry, James. They're so passionate up here, and they just want to see commitment and desire in a team that they can actually support. And we touched on this before. At the moment, you're not seeing it, and I feel for the players because I know they will be trying their hardest, but it's just not going at the moment. It's not going for them.
And, all the Newcastle fans standing up behind the goal here because I think one of their own is being taken away by the stewards, and a bit of a security issue in one corner of the ground, which is now being dealt with. Meanwhile, Leeds take a corner. Rafinha swings it in there. It's going to come out to the far side. Still a problem for Newcastle. They can't get it away. Bamford tries to go for goal. It came off his back in the end. Manquillo gets it away. Firpo back forward. It's been missed. It's down the right hand side. Rafinha going for goal. Blocked by Darlow. Back towards Rafinha. Crucial goal-saving challenge there by Kieran Clark. And Newcastle here on thin ice.
They just need to weather this storm, James. They really do. And because Bamford missed a big chance there, big opportunity, and Rafinha, who's causing all sorts of problems down the left-hand side, almost got another one. And they just need to weather this and see if they can come out the other side and start creating some stuff on their own. But Leeds are looking very, very good value at the moment.
Yeah, they're taking full advantage of the Newcastle situation that they're in right now. Saint-Maximin, though, racing forward. Cruyff turn, goes wide to Joelinton, back to Saint-Maximin. He's taking them on by himself at the moment. Ritchie on the left-hand side. He curls one into the near post. It's going to drop here. Chance for an equaliser. And driven past the far post by Miguel Almiron. Great chance for Newcastle. Should be 1-1.
It should be. It's good play as well, and St Maximin's at the heart of it, and Matt Ritchie, and what we discussed earlier, you get across the front post, and Joelinton did, and he caused a bit of problems there. Clearance was poor, and I think Almiron's got to do better. He's got to hit the target. We spoke about Almiron and his end product. I think he's got to do a little bit better there.
Steve Bruce in conversation with Graham Jones, who is calling Matt Ritchie over here. There's a problem at the moment for Carl Darlow, who is trying to do his laces up, or he's trying to do something to his laces. Not always easy when you're wearing a pair of goalie gloves. Ritchie now being spoken to by Bruce and Jones. We want Bruce out is the chant from the home fans. 20 minutes into a game, and he can't ignore that. He knows what's going on.
It's not nice. It's not nice to hear. It's not nice to see. But when the supporters want results, you know, we've seen it at many football clubs. You know, support power is crucial in these football clubs, and at the moment, and probably since Steve Bruce arrived, he's not had the backing of the supporters. I think if there was a different owner that did care for the football club, I don't think Steve Bruce would be in a job right now. But listen, credit to him. He's standing tall. He's standing at the edge of his technical area, and he's trying.
Ball down the right hand side. Rafinha, edge of the penalty area again here for Leeds. His cross was too high this time, and it's picked up by Almiron on the Newcastle right as he comes inside, dribbles past Firpo and drives across the pitch here. Then Junior Firpo catches him from behind. I think the Newcastle fans playing for blood here and asking for a yellow card to be shown in the direction of the Spaniard, but I don't think it's going to come. Only a free kick. We've played just about half of this first half. Newcastle 0, Leeds 1.
I mean, I've seen it. I've been there before at various clubs. The atmosphere isn't great. It's tense inside the stadium, but it takes one thing. It takes maybe a 50-50 where you win it, an effort on goal, a corner, and you get them right back on side again, and they need to do that.
St Maximin driving through the middle here. He slipped it through, and a chance inside the penalty area. Oh, and the ball just got away there from Joe Willock, who'd made a run from midfield. But Newcastle at least starting to get into one or two positions where they may be able to do something. But here come Leeds on the counter. It's Click driving through the middle. There are runs left and right. It's Rodrigo, edge of the penalty area, back to goal for now. Out to James on the left hand side, running here at Manquillo. Inside James on his right foot. He tucks it past his man. Was he taken down there inside the box? No penalty. It's Almiron who brings it away. Joelinton back to Almiron. Joelinton this short of the halfway line. Newcastle now building up to the right hand side, urged forward by the 50,000 home fans, and St Maximin is racing past. Cooper here cuts it back. Almiron's missed his kick. Joelinton, what a save, Meslier! Unbelievable save by the goalkeeper, and somehow Leeds still lead this one by a goal to nil. Absolutely outrageous save.
He's got to score. He has got to score that. If he scores that, it's a brilliant move. St Maximin's pace down the right hand side was brilliant. Almiron, he's tried to cut back to Almiron, who's mishit his effort, which again, that's disappointing, but it's landed in front of Joelinton. He's got to score. It's a good save from Meslier, but a yard either side, it's a goal. But I mean, it's a good watch. It's a good watch for us, James. It's end-to-end stuff. It's fantastic, but he's got to score that. It should be 1-1.
Oh, we are absolutely loving it here. Was it a penalty at the other end as well?
I don't think so. I don't think there was enough in that. I think he just got the ball and just nicked it away. We haven't seen the replays yet, but I don't think it was. It's good. It's a good match.
It is. No doubt about that. Ball is with Cooper here at the back. And it was St Maximin again, the architect during that move. Ayling. Square here to Cooper. I'm just going back to Steve Bruce. You know, he's a noted Newcastle fan. I think it just goes to show that all that nonsense that people come out with saying, oh, you know, he's a Newcastle fan, or he's a fan of our club, it's going to mean more to him, and all that kind of stuff. It means absolutely nothing at all, does it?
Of course it doesn't, as we see a replay, and I changed my opinion. I think that was a penalty.
Yeah.
I think he hasn't won the ball at all.
Oh, a chance for 2-0 just past the post from Dan James. Well, there are chances at either end here, and it's Rodrigo who got the final touch on that one. It all came for a throw-in on the halfway line from Dallas, forward towards Bamford, who was 40 yards from goal. He slipped it forward to the edge of the box, set by James, and Rodrigo inches away from making it 2.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that, I think, Rodrigo. With his left foot, he's already scored a wonder goal, which was initially a cross, but with his left foot, I think he should be hitting the target there, so he'll be disappointed. I mean, going back to your original question, James, I think it is nonsense. I think the Sunderland connection doesn't help Steve Bruce, absolutely, in no uncertain terms. It doesn't matter. You want a manager that is supporting your team, and I think that's kind of a question mark Newcastle have. I think they think he's a little bit negative towards his own team and positive to other teams. You know, something was brought up in a fans forum a couple of weeks back when he faced questions from the supporters themselves, and they mentioned that, and he said, look, I'll address that, I weren't aware. I can't see him not being aware of that, so it's just frustration at the moment from Newcastle fans, and they're airing it.
Of course, the fact he went away to Portugal on holiday during the last international break didn't help matters, and some of the fans got wind of it. It was put to the journalist in turn decided to put it to Steve Bruce, and it didn't go down too well.
No, I can imagine how that went down, and if he come back now and Newcastle win comfortably today, then I don't think it would be too much of an issue. But you know, when you are down the bottom, when you're not winning, when the supporters are on your back, you've got to be squeaky clean, and going away to Portugal, I don't think is. You've got to be honest, I don't think that is.
He could have gone to Edinburgh.
Yeah, I'd have picked Portugal as well.
It's just not a good look, even if, as he was saying, you know, there are only a number of senior pros there because of internationals, this, that and the other. It just isn't a very good thing to do, is it?
It's not, and all clubs do it, all managers do it when you're away. But when you're down there, I've been there where Christmas parties have been cancelled, etc., because you're down at the bottom of the table, and like you said, you've got to do everything right because supporters are watching and media, and they find out.
27 minutes gone, Newcastle 0, Leeds 1. Leeds leading through the goal from Rafinha in the 13th minute. Newcastle trying to build something down the left-hand side here, but it's been won back by Leeds, who will bring it away now through Rodrigo. Back by Phillips to Meslier. To come up with that massive block a couple of minutes ago. It's a strange front line really that Newcastle are operating with now, isn't it? Because, you know, if Wilson plays, he's always going to be the central striker, but now you've got Joelinton, who kind of made his name centrally playing wide left, and you've got Maximan, who's known to most people as a winger, playing as the central striker, albeit has got a slightly free role in this side. Yeah,
I looked at that. So Maximan, I mean, I'd have him on the left wing. I think I'd swap him and Joelinton. I think you need a big target man if you've got pace going either side of you in Maximan and Almiron.
Bamford slips it forward now down the right hand side. It's Rodrigo, he's inside the box. Bamford wants it back. Rodrigo on his left foot sets it back to Calvin Phillips, just past the post, and it hits the back of the net but on the wrong side, which is why you heard the cheer from the Leeds fans at the end of the stadium. They thought that was in for 2-0, and it was very close to being in for 2-0, but it was just past the post from Phillips.
It was a good effort, and we talked. So Maximan causing all sorts of problems for Leeds. He caused problems for Newcastle there. He lost it on the halfway line, and they've hit him on the break. And Rafinha, who's doing fantastic, just laid off to Calvin Phillips. I think it's a good effort. I think he, again, similar to the Rafinha one earlier, he should be in the target.
It's out of play. It's a throw into Leeds here in the right back position. I think Marcelo Bielsa will be hoping that his side can get that second goal as quickly as possible, won't he?
Absolutely. Look, as soon as Newcastle are getting back into the game, just like we see there, so Maximan lost it this time, and Leeds nearly capitalised on that and score. Marcelo Bielsa will be disappointed if this goes 1-0 at half time, because if you're Newcastle, you've got a chance to get back into the game.
So throw in here to Newcastle on the left hand side. search for an equaliser. They've actually won just 2 of 13 Premier League games where Callum Wilson hasn't played since he joined the club, showing perhaps a bit of an over-reliance on him.
It's a big loss, Callum Wilson. He's a goal scorer.
And it's not short term, is it?
It's not, no, and it's been unfortunate really since he signed. He's been injured the majority of the time. When he's back, we see that at the end of last season, him and Saint-Maximin return at the same time, and it's such a big boost for Newcastle. So that can't be helped. That there's not Steve Bruce's fault, absolutely not. And you know, he must think the world's against him when his main men are injured. Bamford
holding the ball well. He's playing well so far for Leeds, and he's on the ball again here down the right hand side towards the edge of the box. He gets it back, still Bamford trying to waltz his way through, but in the end he's halted, and Newcastle bring it away here with Longstaff. It's played out to the right hand side. Saint-Maximin running against Cooper again. He roasted him a couple of minutes ago, and he's trying to do the same here. He's gone past him, has to steady himself as he crosses. Phillips was there to cut it out, but he's lost it out to Almiron. Edge of the area now, a chance for Joe Willett to shoot, but past the post it goes. It wasn't even close in the end. It's behind for a goal kick to Leeds, but maybe some signs that Newcastle can do something in this game.
Yeah, it's better. It's an opportunity. It's disappointing finish from Joe Willock. I think he picked the wrong option there. I think he could have slipped in. I think it was Almiron in the end, but again Maximin causing issues down the right hand side with his pace. I don't know about you, James. I think you've got to question why VAR didn't look at that challenge earlier. When we see it back,
well,
I think it was a clear penalty.
There are 2, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, is it a clear and obvious error? That second one in particular, I think, was.
It becomes clear and obvious if there's a discrepancy between what happened and what the referee describes. That's the thing that's missing in this whole VAR process, is that because we can't hear the conversations with the referees, we don't know what they think they've seen. And something can only be overturned if there's a difference between what has happened and what the referee says he's seen. So until we hear that, I don't think it's such a frustrating thing for everyone.
It is.
And it sounds like there's going to be no change in that. I actually asked Mike Riley before the season began if there was going to be a change in stance on hearing the referee's conversations, but he says it's not their decision to make, it's a FIFA directive. So until Kalina decides that that's the way we're going to go, I'm afraid we're stuck with the current system.
And that's faltered at best.
Yeah. Longstaff, Saint-Maximin, former Saint-Etienne man, turning Phillips and going down, wins a free kick here. And again, the home fans asking for a card to be shown. One isn't coming yet. Saint-Maximin pulls himself back to his feet. He's been on a one-man mission so far, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. He had that one when he was dispossessed and Leeds had an opportunity, but other than that he's been the main man once again for Newcastle, causing problems particularly down the right hand side to Firpo, is in the left back for Leeds. The pace he's shown against him has been brilliant, and you know they need to capitalise on that. When he gets down there, you need to make runs into the box and show a bit of commitment, desire when you're in there, and you know, take the game by the scruff of the neck. And if he's going to flash one across the box, make sure you're there first.
Just in a tweet, someone saying that Saint-Maximin is far too good for this club. As the ball is knocked in now, headed away by Bamford. Clark still battling away for it. Ritchie hooked out by Click. Back forward by Ritchie. His header is wayward though, and Ayling can take it down in the left back position before guiding it away to halfway, where James takes it down. Nice control. Haven't seen too much of Dan James so far. Big switch here to the right hand side. Rafinha takes it down inside the box. On his right, he's on his left. He cuts it back. Chance for 2-0. It's saved just about by Carl Darlow. But every time for Leeds United, that cutback is on, and Newcastle don't have a player to be seen anywhere.
When you're talking about 5 at the back, 4 in midfield, you've got that 9. Where are the midfield? When it cuts back, there isn't a midfield player in sight, as you just said, and that's 3 opportunities they've had on that cutback, and one of them's going to go in sooner or later, and it's brilliant from Leeds again.
Alan Saint-Maximin into the box here, going in alone once again. He's waiting for someone to join in. Almiron does. The Paraguayan slips. He plays it square. Ritchie arrives on his right foot, drives one in. He hit the post, and Leeds able to scramble it clear. Well, it's been a great game of football so far. just the one goal. There could have been many more, and it's Newcastle who've come the closest they have so far as Richie strikes the foot of the post.
Oh, it's a brilliant game of football, as you say. It's end-to-end stuff. I think if you're Steve Bruce or Marcelo Bielsa, you won't be saying this is a brilliant game. Leeds should have scored down one end and Matt Ritchie hits the post down the other. It's great for the neutral to watch this, but if you're Leeds, you've got to make this possession, this when you're winning the ball and the midfielder nowhere to be seen, you've got to make that count. And Newcastle could be 1-1.
In comes the corner. Eventually Meslier able to hold on and bowls it over onto the right hand side, and Rafinha is away here, and Leeds have two busting a gut to get up alongside him. Rafinha switches the play. It's lovely as a Rodrigo. He's inside the box. Can he cut it back? Well, behind it goes. I'm not sure if it's gone behind for a corner, but Rodrigo's gone over the LED advertising boards here. All about the quick breakaway there for Leeds. Stunning play. Rafinha can pick a pass, and he did just that. And Rodrigo in the end just ran out of steam, but he does win a corner.
Again, no one apart from Sir Maximin and Lascelles busting a gut to get back there. I think Mike Dean was outpacing some of the midfield for Newcastle getting back, and this is end-to-end stuff. It's a fantastic game for the neutral, but hearts are in mouths for the supporters. 9
to go until half-time. Newcastle 0, Leeds 1 here on Premier League Live. The first game of the weekend. In comes the Leeds corner. Well headed away by Lascelles. Almiron helps it out further. Junior Firpo back on halfway will turn it home here to Meslier, the young French goalkeeper, on the edge of his own penalty area. Hammers it high, hammers it long, looking for the run of Calvin Phillips. Lascelles nods it to Sam Maximin on the halfway line. In the end it goes all the way back to Meslier.
Yeah, when you just want to keep a little bit of possession and settle this game down, I think that was Longstaff has just volleyed one straight back to Meslier there. So they just need to get hold of the game. One team, Leeds or Newcastle, the midfield, the defence just need to start keeping possession, getting hold of this game, putting your foot on it, because it's end-to-end stuff at the minute.
On the left-hand side here, a chance to cross again here for Leeds. Lascelles unconvincing in his clearance. James inside the box on his left foot, drives it right the way across the face of goal, and Ritchie has to turn it out of play for a corner on the other side. Every time Leeds look like they can get in behind here, and every time they do get in behind, they can create a chance.
They can. That's good play from Dan James there. I think everyone would expect him to lay it back off to the wing, and he put one.
Rafinha's corner. Newcastle clear it away. Phillips can't control on the edge of the penalty area. Almiron now twisting and turning, trying to find a way out. He has found a way out. He's popped it through the legs of Click. He's gone past another. Now it's a free kick to Newcastle. No, referee says that Almiron has dived. They're asking for a yellow card again. He doesn't even get a free kick. Meanwhile, here's Rodrigo on the right for Leeds. He slips it down the right hand side. Dallas will cross. It goes over the head of Bamford. Still maybe a chance for Leeds, and behind it goes for a corner. The Newcastle fans not at all happy with Mike Dean.
You know what? I think Mike Dean's right. I don't think he touched. I didn't think he needed to go down in the first place. I think he was away from Dan James, and I don't think he touched him at all.
Great call, Mike Dean.
He was away. I don't understand why he's decided to fall over, whether he was flying at such pace that he just did get a little clip. From what I see, I think Mike Dean was a fantastic call there. I think he dived.
I think a yellow card has been shown here, possibly to Lascelles for his arguments. Here's the corner for Leeds. In it comes over the head of Ayling. Jumps to Sam Maximin on the edge of the box. He tries to start the counter here, running alone, running into traffic. Phillips has stopped him. To the left hand side, James, high ball into the box. It goes out the other side, and Willock tries to nod it down, but he's gifted it straight back here to Rafinha. Out to Rafinha again on the right hand side. His cross in, just full short of Bamford, back in by Phillips, but Darlow is there to collect. Confirmation of a yellow card to Miguel Almiron.
Yeah, for the dive right in front of Mike Dean. It was a great call. I can't see why, whether he felt he was going to get caught or he was running out of steam. He was away from all three of them. It was a good play to start with, and then he just fell over. It's
back here with the Newcastle goalkeeper at the moment. been 15 attempts on goal in the game already. Absolutely superb stuff so far in this Friday night football. Newcastle trying to make something happen. Almiron's been dispossessed again. Rodrigo, Dallas. And the thing is now that this Newcastle side are wound up, aren't they? And Leeds almost have them exactly where they want them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's exactly how Leeds like to play against a team. The one thing Leeds are going to give you is energy, and they're going to be fitter than most teams in the Premier League, and no matter how much Newcastle throw at them, they can just stay with it. They're a very, very fit side, and that's down to the Marcelo Bielsa's methods in training, and you know, Newcastle just need to settle down.
Phillips to the left hand side. Junior Firpo. Can Leeds get another before half time? They're looking confident. Technically they've been pretty good on the ball. I say that as they give the ball away with a really cheap ball away from Click. But so far I think Marcelo Bielsa will be relatively happy.
Yeah, he'll be happy with the way they've played. He'll be happy with obviously the 1-0. He'll be disappointed if it stays 1-0 because they've had some opportunities. They've had obviously the cutbacks, mainly from Rafinha. A couple of chances there, but still Newcastle could be in the game. Matt Ritchie obviously hitting the post. So Maximan's causing some issues. So I think he'll be disappointed if it does stay 1-0.
Ball is back here with Cooper on the edge of his own penalty area. Meslier take his time here. Plenty of Newcastle fans heading downstairs to get themselves a ale or two at half time.
And well earned, by the way, well earned.
Were you a fan of the Newcastle Brown Ale in your time over there?
Yeah. To be fair, no. When I was up there, I never. But yeah, I wish I did now.
Newcastle were a good team when you were there.
Brilliant.
Didn't have time for that, did
Brilliant.
you?
I loved it.
Were they the most passionate set of fans you played for?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Crystal Palace are up there. Obviously, the atmosphere there were brilliant, but it's different when you're at Newcastle. If you lose, you can't go out. You can't be seen in supermarkets. If you win, the same people that don't want to see you out idolise you. It's incredible how they love their football up there.
Did you have online shopping back then, or did you send the other half?
Yeah, just sent the missus out to do it. I didn't want to get seen.
Here's Sam Maximan on the right hand side. His cross just too high for Joelinton. Willock will pick it up on the left wing, and Rafinha, to his credit, defensively on point there to pop the ball out of play for a throw. Ritchie. Willock on the left hand side, into the box he goes. He's got back to Almiron. Longstaff hits it, but tamely and comfortably collected by the goalkeeper.
I mean, if you're Almiron, you're this is what I'm talking about earlier. You're a forward-thinking player. You should be one of the flair players. I don't think he should be laying that off. I think he should be looking to go himself. It's on his left foot. I think he's positioned himself to be able to lay it off. A slight turn of the hips, and you should be the one putting that into the, at least having an effort. You know, you're left-footed. It's on your left foot. Be confident. Have a go. If you have, we see it with Mohamed Salah. He could have 10 efforts on goal. It doesn't bother him. The 11th will go in. That's what these players should be doing.
Played forward by Ayling. We've got 90 seconds left of normal time in the first half. We'll have a look at one or two of the other games in the Premier League weekend at half time. Willock here, driving in field. He's done really well. Joelinton on the left, who's barely had a kick so far. He's into the area though. Here's cut back. He comes to Sam Maximan. Delays to shoot. He eventually shoots and scores! If anyone was going to do anything in this game for Newcastle, it was Alan Sam Maximan. And finally, Newcastle are back on level terms, and listen to the roar around this place. It is absolutely bonkers. Newcastle 1, Leeds 1.
And there he is. The main man has done it once again. I thought he'd overdone it. I thought he'd had too many touches. He's settling. Joelinton, he's always looking to get the ball. I thought he'd overdone it, and he hadn't. He'd waited a perfect opportunity, perfect moment, and struck a fantastic right-footed effort into the bottom corner. And this is exactly what Newcastle needed just before half time. They were just coming back into this game as well, and now it's 1-1. Brilliant.
Saint-Maximin scoring for the second time this season, the second time in as many home games, having netted here very late on against Southampton in the last minute. Against the Saints, he scored here in the last minute of normal time in the first half. 1-1. And Steve Bruce needed that, didn't he?
He did. I don't think it will change the mood of the supporters, absolutely not. But who didn't need that was Marcelo Bielsa. I was just talking, and we was talking about how disappointed he'd be going in at 1-0. Well, it's now 1-1. I mean, brilliant from Saint-Maximin. Outstanding.
2 minutes of additional time at the end of the first half. Mike Dean restarts us, and it is set up nicely for a big second half to come here, though. Here's Rafinha straight away on the right hand side, cuts it back here for Leeds, cut out this time by Hayden, who's now moved into midfield. Newcastle with a back four now, having started with a back 3/5. Is that going to suit them a bit more, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I was going to mention that perhaps they could have put Matt Ritchie up on the left, Joe Ellington and Saint-Maximin up top in a 2. Do something different because it wasn't working. Well, they've scored now.
Rafinha, edge of the box, tries to play it square. Click was running onto it, it was hooked away. So you've now got Manquillo at right back, Lascelles, Clark in the middle, and Ritchie at left back, and Hayden moves into midfield. James on the left wing, Manquillo at his back. James rolls it back up the line, centred by Click. Good ball in, claimed this time by Darlow. We've got around 90 seconds of added time to go.
All them people who went for their beer and pies are probably wondering what all the cheering is upstairs. It's always the way, ain't it? It's always the way.
I was never one to go down before half time and never one to leave before the end, because you just don't know what you're going to miss. Even you might be losing 5 or 6, you know, there's still a chance that you might witness something that otherwise you'd have missed.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's their decision. Thankfully we were here to see it. We've got 60 seconds to go. Does that change Steve Bruce's half-time team talk?
It will do. It probably shouldn't, no, because I think Leeds still could have been 2 or 3 or 4 goals up by then. But what it does, it changes the mood of the stadium. You know, at half-time, when you're going in at 1-0, there would have definitely been boos. There potentially still could be, because the protests are surrounding Steve Bruce and the owners, but it's not going to be as severe that it would have been if they were going in 1-0 down. It's changed the atmosphere totally.
Now Ritchie taking this free kick from the wrong place. Mike Dean urging him to go back. It's played forward again here as Newcastle to turn this one around before we go in for half time. Drops on the edge of the area, Joe Wellington. Phillips on the fade to put a foot in there, and he clears it away. Saint-Maximin wide on the left hand side, up against Dallas. Saint-Maximin inside, outside, inside. Still Saint-Maximin, edge of the penalty area. He can't pull the trigger. Almiron waits for the challenge to come. It didn't in the end, and Leeds are breaking away. Junior Firpo over the halfway line. Newcastle trying to get bodies back. Firpo's going in alone. He's gone past another. His cross in, it's over Bamford. Comes through to Rafinha. Great chance for 2-1. Rafinha! Great block. Hayden threw his body in the way. Rafinha delayed and delayed. There's still a chance in there. They're queuing up. James this time. Firpo over the bar. Unbelievable. How on earth is that not 2-1 Leeds? They all have their head in their hands. What a glorious series of opportunities wasted.
Rafinha should do better to start with. Brilliant block. Comes out to Dan James. He's had an effort, and Firpo should, again, disappointing for them. They should be going up in the lead. They should be going half-time in the lead.
Half-time whistle goes to Mike Dean. Darren Ambrose, I don't even know where to start on picking that one. We're going to have to do it somehow in a 5 or 6 minute spell in a few minutes' time. It is 1-1 at the break. Rafinha with the opener for Leeds, a cross that ended up going all the way in. Saint-Maximin equalising for Newcastle on the stroke of half-time to make sure they go in level at the break. It has been breathless stuff. Chances at either end throughout this first half. The half-time score is Newcastle 1, Leeds 1. We'll go through the first half in a minute. You are listening to Premier League Live.
From the terraces to the touchline, if you're the ultimate football fan, you need to subscribe to the Game Day podcast from TalkSport.
Oh yes! He's done it again!
It's the twice-weekly Premier League roundup that brings you big-name guests, in-depth previews and tough-tackling analysis from the world's biggest football league.
Oh, what a finish! He's beaten the keeper to it!
Feel the might of the top flight. Subscribe now to the Game Day podcast. Available on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Get bowled over with Following On, the fast-paced cricket podcast from TalkSport that'll hit you for six. It's a pitch-perfect delivery of first-class cricket news.
And that's a beautiful straight drive.
Boasting an impressive strike rate of exclusive big-name guests.
Oh, you little ripper!
And fielding fierce fan reaction.
Oh, that might be out.
Don't get caught out. Subscribe now to the Following On podcast. Available on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
They faced bitter prejudice.
What they had to endure was horrific.
They battled injustice.
Basically, they threw the rule book away.
But their talent was inextinguishable. And they rose to become sporting icons that etched their legacy on the history of English football.
What a strike! What a finish!
Coming in from the cold is an exclusive 6-part documentary that chronicles the struggles and the triumphs of black footballers in the English game. Join Jessica Crichton as she uncovers the untold stories and hears firsthand from a host of superstar names, including John Barnes, Viv Anderson, Luther Blissett, Andy Cole, Rachel Yankee, John Fashanu, and many more.
These guys went through it all, and they are true inspiration.
Coming in from the cold, the history of black footballers in the English game. Listen to the full series now, available on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Tom Rennie here to tell you about a new soccer podcast called Week in the Tackle with me and Brian Dunseth.
That's right, Tom. Well, join us for new episodes every Monday as we argue about all the top soccer stories we think are worth tackling.
Plus, we'll welcome the occasional guest to join in on the debate.
Strong opinions, big stories, no agenda.
Week in the Tackle, available on Mondays from wherever you get your podcasts.
If it's a big story in soccer, we'll tackle it.
Got an unquenchable thirst for sport? Get up to speed with the day's biggest sports stories with the TalkSport hit. Crammed full of the latest team news, big match previews, and discussing the day's hottest topics.
An improvement week in, week out.
Plus, get all the latest results and full fan reaction to the biggest events in world sport.
It's a wonderful goal!
Satisfy your thirst for sports news with the TalkSport hit. Subscribe now on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back here to St James's Park, where we have a half-time score of Newcastle 1, Leeds 1, but that's not even the half of it. Bamford in the right channel, he finds Rafinha onto his trusty left foot, whips one in early, it goes all the way through, and Leeds United have an early lead. The man who had a poke in the eye has popped one into the corner, and more doom and gloom around St James's Park again. A fortunate goal it may be, they all count, and they all go against Steve Bruce.
Absolutely brilliant. I don't think you can question the goalkeeper. He was sighted, he thought Rodrigo in the box was going to get a touch. Brilliant cross into the box that's ended up a goal.
St Maximan, he's racing past Cooper, cuts it back, Amram's missed his kick. Joelinton, what a save, Meslier! Unbelievable save by the goalkeeper, and somehow Leeds still lead this one by a goal to nil. Joelinton on the left, who's barely had a kick so far. He's into the area though. Here's cutback, he comes to St Maximan, delays to shoot, he eventually shoots and scores! If anyone was going to do anything in this game for Newcastle, it was Alan St Maximan. And finally, Newcastle are back on level terms, and listen to the roar around this place. It is absolutely bonkers. Newcastle 1, Leeds 1. Firpo's going in alone, he's gone past another. His cross in, it's over Bamford, comes through to Rafinha, great chance for 2-1. Rafinha, great block. Hayden threw his body in the way. Rafinha delayed, there's still a chance in there, they're queuing up. James this time, Firpo over the bar. Unbelievable. How on earth is that not 2-1 Leeds? They all have their head in their hands. What a glorious series of opportunities wasted. opportunities wasted. Probably the key theme of the first half, wasn't it, Darren Ambrose? How is it not? Is it still 1-1?
Absolutely incredible game. Let's be honest. I think 20 shots in that half, which is brilliant. We said before the game it could either be a dull 0-0, but by the way these two play, the way they've been conceding in this season, it's been a brilliant game. But like you said, how it's only 1-1, I think Marcelo Bielsa will be more disappointed now it's only 1-1.
What will Bielsa be saying to his team at half time?
How did you let that slip? I think look, they had a lot of opportunities, a lot of them from 18, 19 yards out, but you should be expecting a little bit more. Rafinha had a good one, and he just put that fantastic goal, the cross that went in. You know, he's got a good left foot, and he had a good opportunity to hit the target. The one right at the end with Firpo at the end, I mean, if he hits that low, it's a goal, and Steve Bruce is having a different team talk. So I think Marcelo Bielsa will tell them to go out, continue to do what they've been doing, but make these count.
We were just talking about it off air there during the break, but there's going to be one clear instruction from Steve Bruce, isn't there?
There is, yeah. Give the ball to Alan Saint-Maximin and let him do his stuff. And you know what? It seems like they do that anyway. Now, he's always available. We discussed. He seems to love playing football, love getting on the ball, love entertaining. And he's not letting any of the atmosphere, any of the tension get to him. He's just getting on the ball and doing his stuff. And it was always going to be him to score that. And it was a fantastic goal.
We joke about it, but can team talks at half-time be as simple as that? Give the ball to X, let him do Y?
I mean, if they're on form, if a certain player's on form, yeah, I've been known to go into the change room and have that team talk. You know, if you have any opportunity to get the ball to Saint-Maximin, give him the ball. I think you look at Joe Ellington, I think he looks like he does that anyway. I would continue with the two up top as they ended that half. I'd continue with the 4-4-2 and just have a right go at them, because you know, you can see when you are attacking them, they had some opportunities as well. Matt Ritchie obviously hit the post. Joe Ellington should have scored, should have done better. And obviously Saint-Maximin, when he gets down the right-hand side, he causes all sorts of problems.
Well, let's take a breather from this one, as are the players at the moment. The fans taking a sit down as well. Let's look ahead to the big game on Sunday. No love lost between Chelsea and Spurs. They meet in the 4:30 kickoff on Sunday afternoon. And ahead of that game, Thomas Tuchel, the Chelsea boss, says that he's expecting a tough game against their big rivals.
Well, let's see who can play and who cannot play. It's still 2 days to go. I'm actually not so much involved in speculations and don't get too involved in predictions who will play and who will not play. We are facing a tough opponent. It's a London derby. We had a great result in the last season. We will try everything to repeat it. But no matter who plays, some players came also back, and they will do everything to have their players back on the pitch. So we expect a tough side and a big crowd and a great match to play.
What have you made of Tottenham so far this season, Darren Ambrose?
Inconsistent. I think Nuno obviously wasn't the first choice to come into Spurs. We know that. Wasn't probably the favourite of the supporters, but he's done well. You know, 3-1-0 wins in a row to get them to top of the league as it was. Obviously let that slip at Crystal Palace, but listen, I don't want to say it was down to injuries, etc., because Crystal Palace were fantastic on the day. I was at that game, but there's a lot. Son is a big miss when he's out, and you can see Harry Kane misses him as well, and Eric Dyer picked up the injury when Sanchez is out as well. Tanganga getting sent off. So inconsistent, but they have to bounce back from what was a disappointing result against Crystal Palace. They have to go to Chelsea, the European champions, which is not going to be easy.
If you finish above Chelsea this season, do you win the league?
I think so, yeah. I think I said this at the start of the season. That was my prediction. I think Chelsea are going to be the ones to beat. If you finish above them, you will win the league. Thomas Tuchel is a fantastic manager. Since he's arrived, I think he's only behind Pep Guardiola by 1 point, I believe, if I'm right in saying so. They're doing very, very well. It's going to be tough, but listen, Tottenham have to bounce back from the, like I said, the performance and the result at Crystal Palace. So it's not going to be easy for Chelsea. But when you've got Romelu Lukaku up front in the form that he's in, anything can happen.
Yeah, just quickly, in 20 seconds if you can. What specifically has Tuchel done since he's come in that has revived that team?
Well, he's brought everyone together. It seems like, and you know, he wants everyone to to be a team, you know, to be this togetherness, and it seems like he's got that in Chelsea, and you know, they seem to love to play for him, and that's all you want as a manager, a team that love to play for you.
You're doing so well so far, joint top of the Premier League. Big game on Sunday, Spurs against Chelsea, 4:30 start. Big second half to come here, Newcastle against Leeds. Coming up next, you are listening to Premier League Live.
It's the ultimate fusion of football and celebrity.
The Best 11 podcast from Talk Sport.
Johnny Owen and Mark Webster interview the biggest names in popular culture,
looking back at the role the beautiful game has played in their lives.
Paul Weller. Could I just start off apologising for last weekend?
Actor Stephen Graham. Good morning, Stevie.
Morning. Sharing their earliest football memories,
how they celebrated their team's successes,
culminating in their all-time best 11.
Noel Gallagher.
Let's deal with the hangover and let's have it again after that.
The Best 11 podcast. Subscribe now on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Tom Rennie. Join me for a weekly podcast, Week in the Tackle, available wherever you get your podcasts. I'm going to be joined by Brian Dunseth, MLS legend, to tackle the biggest stories from the week in soccer.
And the great thing about working with Tom and making Week in the Tackle is we're only going to be covering things we think are worth tackling.
This show is all about passion. What's going to get us riled up? What's going to get you riled up to give us all something to chew on?
We're not here to sit on the fence and tell you the stories of the day. That's what your phone's for. You'll be scrolling through Twitter while listening anyways.
Exactly. I'm scrolling through Twitter right now. I'll save you the trouble. It is all bad news. This show is about tackling all the news of the week, giving our take on why it's interesting and why we think you should know.
Who should be sacked? Who should be bought? Who should be sold? Who was right? Who was wrong?
Strong opinion, big stories, no agenda.
Week in the Tackle is available on Mondays from wherever you get your podcasts. If it's a big story in soccer, we'll tackle it.
Got an unquenchable thirst for sport? Get up to speed with the day's biggest sports stories with the Talk Sport Hit. Crammed full of the latest team news, big match previews, and discussing the day's hottest topics.
They're improving week in, week out.
Plus, get all the latest results and full fan reaction to the biggest events in world sport.
It's a wonderful goal!
Satisfy your thirst for sports news with the Talk Sport Hit. Subscribe now on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Women's Football Weekly Podcast.
With Faye Carruthers. All the action, excitement and drama from across the entire women's game.
Cleared off the line by Steph Horton.
Including the Women's Super League.
Ellen White is there to tap it in.
The UEFA Women's Champions League.
Lana Clellan striking from outside the penalty area.
And the Euro 2021 qualifiers.
On the edge of the area to Emsley. And Emsley's going to finish it off.
Plus, all the home nations international friendlies.
Lucy Bronze with the strike from the edge of the penalty area.
World-beating big match conversation.
There's Jodie Taylor.
Subscribe now to the Women's Football Weekly Podcast on Acast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Newcastle United against Leeds United here live from St James's Park. I'm your host James Fielden, and still alongside me, I'm delighted to say, is the former Newcastle United midfielder Darren Ambrose. This is Premier League Live. We are just about ready to get started in the second half. Newcastle making their way back out to the field of play here. And Leeds won't be far behind them either. St Maximin looks in determined mood ahead of his second half. They can not afford to lose him, can they, Darren Ambrose?
They can't, no, and it builds you with so much confidence, where even when the support is like we said, a bit tense, a bit hostile, if you're the main man, you know you can kind of get away with stuff that others can't, and I think he will be full of confidence, and when he's in this mood, just give him the ball, and that's what they need to be looking to do.
Just waiting for the... hasn't got involved too much.
He hasn't, no, and I think the air of frustration comes into play when you're a player like Dan James, and then you get the ball and you rush what you want to do, and you know it can never be a good thing. He's just got to not try and build his way into this game, and you know, get on the ball more than he did in the first half. It just seemed to pass him by, and sometimes that's not your fault when you're on the wing. It can go down the other side a lot of the time, which it did with Rafinha. It's got to build into this game.
Sides last met here on a Tuesday night at the end of January when Leeds were 2-1 winners. Rafinha scored the opener in that game as well. Almiron equalised before Jack Harrison scored the winner half an hour from time. He's not here tonight, not involved. Wallace hit Mike Dean, and although the ball broke for Patrick Bamford, it is going to be a drop ball because it hit the referee.
It's a good touch from Mike Dean there, little slip, little layoff to Bamford.
Golf's his sport. He's a caddy, often seen on the course, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He has his critics, Mike Dean, but I do like watching him as a ref. I think he's quite comical.
There aren't many games really where you think Mike Dean's had a stinker.
No.
Compared to some of the other referees in the league, I don't think.
No, and he's always a good laugh.
Yeah, good value. Lascelles plays it forward to halfway. Almiron jumps over it, comes to the St Maximin. Now forward, St Maximin in between the lines, lays it off here to Longstaff, tries to return it to St Maximin. Phillips able to poke it away for Leeds. Click to the centre of the park. Nice layoff by Rodrigo to Bamford, who pops it out to the right hand side. Rafinha now running at Ritchie backpedaling. Rafinha into the area on the outside of his boot and into the arms of Darlow.
Good play from Patrick Bamford there, who's been a bit quiet in the first half as well. Had a good effort with his head that he should have done better. Nice bit of switcher play there, but he's dropping deep. That's the issue you're going to have with centre forwards that don't get the ball, particularly Patrick Bamford. It's going to drop too deep, and Leeds don't want that. They want him up in the box.
Phillips on the halfway line. These two teams have had more shots on target against them than any other sides in the Premier League so far this season. And that's something that they're going to have to tighten up on if they want to have a semi-decent campaign.
They are, yeah, and you can see by that first half why that's occurring this season. I think it was for the neutral. It was a brilliant half of football, and the first 4 minutes they've been playing looks a little bit tighter. Leeds have had a half a chance, but it can all change again.
Remember, this is the first game of the Premier League weekend. Tomorrow we start at 12:30. John Anderson and Paul Parker will be your commentators for Wolves against Brentford. 3 o'clock, Russell Hargreaves and Hogan Ephraim for Liverpool against Crystal Palace. Toby Gillis and Dave Kitson, 5:30 start for Villa against Everton, as well as commentaries from Burnley against Arsenal, Manchester City against Southampton, and Norwich City against Watford. Sunday triple header, 2 o'clock start, West Ham against Manchester United. Alex Shrug and David Connolly. Tim Long will be on Brighton against Leicester. Looking forward to being in that game myself. And then Tottenham against Chelsea, 4:30. Brighton have started the season well, haven't they?
They really have, and I mean, a lot of people spoke about their expected goals last season. I know that doesn't really matter, it's main goals that count, but they was always up towards the top end of the league in expected goals. So, if they're putting them away like they have been, they're doing very, very well.
They didn't have a finisher, did they? But Mopé's already chipped in this year. Dan James trying to chip in here, but as the ball fell at his feet after a long ball from the right hand side, he put it comfortably wide. Drifting in, Manquillo didn't know where he was.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier, James. When you've been on the peripheral of the game for a little while, you tend to rush and snatch at things when they come your way, and I think you'll be disappointed with that. If you're in the game and you're confident, full of confidence, you take chances like that. You side foot them back to where they come from into the far corner, but he just snatched it, rushed at the shot, and he put it wide.
5 minutes gone in this second half. Newcastle 1, Leeds 1. Would you like to pick a winner at this stage, given how the game's panned out so far?
I mean, it could be 5-5 at the moment. That's the way the game's gone. So, look, you'd still say Leeds look comfortable or look in control. But anything can happen, particularly when that man, St Maximin's on the ball.
Joelinton off the left here for Newcastle. Back to St Maximin, who's tricked himself there. He was trying to do something fancy, but he's lost it, and he's lost the ball again. Leeds trying to break forward down the left-hand side. Lascelles coming in with a full-blooded challenge there. Just wonder whether he'd overextended himself. He was holding that left thigh. Looks like he's going to be okay. Certainly felt something there, the centre-half.
Yeah, I often look at that, and I think that's for show more than anything, which is, I mean, it's a good challenge. But you don't need to be going in like that. He's clearly there first. It was 80-20 in his favour, and that's just to show that he's fully committed, in my opinion. And he could have hurt himself, which he looked like he did to start with, but thankfully he hasn't.
You mean it's just one for the fans, basically?
I think so, yeah. I've played with many players that like to do that, and they put in them challenges when you think could have just controlled that and passed it out and got us on the attack, but you've cleared it into Rose Ed.
So throw it here to Newcastle. Richie will take it. Played away. Lascelles again here on the edge of his own penalty area. Curls it towards the halfway line. Almiron was shoved in the back by Junior Firpo. It is a free kick.
I mean, I see no different there to the one in the first half where Leeds could have had a penalty. Perhaps the penalty decision was even more of a shove in the back. I just can't. Well, I know we discussed it. I can't get my head around why VAR didn't intervene in either one of the penalty shouts in the first half.
Lascelles with a big switch from this free kick, hammers it towards the left channel, and in the end Joelinton cautioned by the referee. I think Joelinton offering him a few choice words in Portuguese there as he went flying into the back of Dallas. And instead Darlow has come way out of his goal here, and Lascelles is having to play it away off the goal line. Darlow apologising to his teammates. He's got a smile on his face. I'm not sure his manager will be smiling.
Absolutely not.
Phillips from distance here. He's around 40 yards from goal in front of the Leeds stand. Click. James wide left. They tried to sign him before Leeds. They got their man this time for Manchester United, and that's nearly an own goal off Lascelles. Darlow with fingertips to palm it away as his backwards header looked like it was going to loop over him.
He was smiling when he shouldn't have been earlier when he was out his goal, but he should be smiling there. What a great save, reactional save there.
James past Almiron, and then Manquillo slid in, and in the end managed to block the ball, though it wasn't really his intention. The ball just ran into his upper body that was lying on the ground. He's Ayling on the halfway line. It has been played at a great tempo. Credit to the players who have already played a lot of football this season, some of them who played 3 games in the international break as well. Here's Saint-Maximin wide right, running at the Leeds back line. He's on the edge of the penalty area. He's gone past 2. He's played it square advance. He's played Joelinton over the top. Looks as though it's going to happen there for Newcastle. Saint-Maximin again the architect. But what about this mistake? Or the save rather, from Darlow at the other end first as we watch the replay.
Fantastic save. Lascelles getting up there, trying to head it clear, ended up directing it in towards the far top corner. Brilliant save from Darlow, and then down the other end, I mean, Saint-Maximin causing problems again, and you kind of wanted him to be passing to himself in that opportunity, but Joelinton just blazed it over the bar, which was a bit frustrating end to that move.
Click carrying it upfield. He's done really well. Bamford, he played for England in that game against Andorra at Wembley. A number of chances to score a goal for his national side and didn't take them. Leeds tonight guilty of not taking awful chances to make it 2-0. They're now lot level at 1-1. Here's Joelinton for Newcastle. Square to Saint-Maximin, edge of the penalty area, on his left foot. Plays it back one here. The referee getting in the way of Hayden. Apologises, and the Newcastle fans absolutely livid at the referee. He's saying he was in the position he should have been. And Steve Bruce, I'd love to know what he's thinking right now.
Oh, I tell you what, if I'm Isaac Hayden, I would have been frustrated there. He's coming back, and it looks like he could have hit that first time, but Mike Dean was stood there, and listen, he can say he was in the right position. He's blocked him. He's blocked his run, and he was there for a shot.
Pantomime villain Mike Dean here. I'm glad I'm not a Newcastle fan. All I can say is that it's alright to watch on as a neutral, but when you're a fan and you're at a game like this, and when your side badly need points, they haven't won this season, moments like that don't half make you angry. It's all about you, it's all about you, Mike Dean, it's all about you is the chant from the home fans here. Joelinton drifting in field. He's played a nice ball to the right hand side, but before it reached Saint-Maximin it was cut out. Steve Bruce throws it back in here. Manquillo will take the throw down the line towards Saint-Maximin. Ayling plays on forward into the left channel. Leeds haven't quite got going in this second half just yet. Ayling takes it down. He's slotted in the centre half okay, hasn't he? He's played there a number of times before, but hasn't been overly troubled so far, mainly I think because Newcastle don't have a focal point at the top end of the field.
That's exactly right, and I think probably a mistake on Steve Bruce's part and Graham Jones that Luke Ayling isn't a natural centre half. Of course, he's a right back, so he should be playing someone up against him. Maybe if it is Joe Ellington, cause some issues for him on the defending side. So, but he's done well. He's been comfortable, but like I said in the first half, it does take away from that energy that he brings to the right hand side of the field.
Rodrigo has been booked here for a pullback. Did have a previous spell in the Premier League with Bolton just over 10 years ago. Since then he's been to Lisbon with Benfica and out to Valencia as well. In his second year now with Leeds, having joined after their promotion.
He seems to have found a home in Leeds, as have most of these players for Leeds under Marcelo Bielsa, who they seem to enjoy playing for him.
Ritchie with his curling free kick in, but it pays everyone. And will harmlessly drop out of play for a goal kick as it hits the corner flag on its way out. Caldalo had an interesting couple of minutes, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He was out of his box, of course. We don't know where he was going, and he ended up smiling. But as we see a replay of the save from the Lascelles back header, brilliant reaction save from him.
Well, Martin Dubravka, the first choice goalkeeper, I guess you'd say. He's been out for such a long time now. Woodman started the season, having been on loan at Swansea the last couple of years, but he's missing tonight. Saint-Maximin into the box, trying to curl one, it's blocked. Saint-Maximin again! Great save by Meslier to palm it behind as that one looked like it's going to flash into the near post. Newcastle corner.
You can't underestimate the save here from Meslier. Absolutely brilliant. But I think Saint-Maximin don't realise how much time he's actually got there. He could have taken one or two more touches, cut inside. But it's a good save down to his near post with his right hand. Brilliant corner now.
Nearly an hour gone here at St James's. Sure to be a lively night in the town after this. Ritchie with the outswinger. Lascelles with a header on goal, but an easy catch for Meslier, who again looks to get rid very quickly. He doesn't have an out ball. Again, nearly through to a Newcastle player, but thought better of it in the end. Many lively nights out on the Toon for you, Darren Ambrose?
Not for me, no. I was
tucked up in bed.
I was tucked up in bed. I was a quiet one.
Who were your managers when you were there?
Sabori Robson signed me. Absolutely brilliant manager, best manager of my career. And then he left, and Graham Souness come in.
How was that?
Listen, brilliant manager, great guy, but I just wasn't his type of player. I was more of a luxury player when he wanted like a Nicky Lee Bowyer kind of player who he eventually signed, and that wasn't me. So my tenure come to an end.
What was so great about, we should say, the late Sir Bobby Robson, a fantastic character?
His man management was second to none. He was absolutely outstanding. He knew everything about everyone. He was just brilliant.
Junior Firpo, edge of the box here for Leeds, and a chance for Click, straight at the goalkeeper. Another chance, and another chance wasted. How many times have we said that in this game?
I mean, another one wasted for Leeds. I mean, Newcastle have started this half stronger than Leeds, but they have an opportunity, and it's another one of them kind of cutbacks to the edge of the box, and that one's wasted as well. I think one thing you're going to get with Leeds is they are going to match you with fitness. Can Newcastle keep this up for the whole game? Remains to be seen. Leeds definitely can. We know they can. So the last 10-20 minutes could be interesting.
Click high, but Rodrigo won't catch that. The benches for both sides aren't great, are they, if we look at the team sheet? Leeds is mainly populated with kids, apart from Tyler Roberts, who's going to come on here. Dan James is going to make way. Hasn't really delivered what he promised, I guess.
No, it's a disappointing performance from Dan James, but like I said, I've been there as a wide player. If the ball keeps going down the other side, you can't really get into the game. When you do, you have to make an impression, and sometimes you snatch at things like he did with a chance there. But yeah, if you look at the Newcastle bench, I think it's looking a little bit stronger than Leeds. Obviously Almiron being replaced now. Ryan Fraser could come on. Jacob Murphy again, another one who could change the game. So yeah, Newcastle's bench looks a bit stronger.
Almiron coming off here. It's Ryan Fraser making a return back from injury. He had an ankle issue which had kept him out, and he makes his return for the first time since the international break, having missed out against Manchester United.
Yeah, another one, Ryan Fraser, who signed with a lot of potential as well after a brilliant time at Bournemouth, and he's not really lived up to that as yet. He's still young. He's in the Scottish national team, so he's got a bit more to do in terms of the attacking intent, though.
Leeds have a throw here in line with the edge of the penalty area on the right hand side. It's been quickly taken. Roberts inside the box, he tries to lift it over, it's been deflected behind, and Leeds have themselves a corner.
Yeah, Tyler Roberts straight into the thick of it there, reacted the quickest, quick throw in. Could have caused some issues there, but he looks fresh. You can tell he's fresh as soon as he's come on, and there's going to be some tired players out there because this first hour has been very, very fast paced, as you once said.
Newcastle trying to mark man for man here. There's been a couple of loose runners. They eventually get the ball away through Sean Longstaff, and the ball has gone into the stand. So throw in two Leeds here, 5 yards up from the corner flag on the right hand side. Trying to cross the ball here is Dallas on the right. It's blocked. Phillips, Junior Firpo, Roberts now, the attacking midfielder, trying to slide the ball through, just too much on it there for Rafinha, who made a really good run, and it slides out of play for a goal kick to the hosts.
Yeah, straight into the thick of it, as I said. Tyler Roberts, and just overhit that one. Just pace of this game's just a little bit ahead of him, and he overhit it because that was a chance to get him in behind there, and Bamford was free in the box as well, but straight into it he is. So you like that as a manager, when your substitutes come on and they're straight into the game. That's what you want.
Headed forward here by Fraser. Back, a bit of head tennis going on at the moment. Leeds getting it clear. They can't get the ball on the deck. Newcastle keep nicking it back. A high boot there from Longstaff. Advantage played by the referee, who now pulls play back. A long advantage it was. Again, not making any friends up here, Mike Dean.
No, I don't know how long you can give it. I mean, it's not rugby. He's made the decision to play on, play advantage, and then he's brought it right back. It was a free kick, of course it was. High boot from Longstaff, but he played advantage, and that's why the supporters are upset about that.
In the first game of the Premier League weekend, Roberts, Rodrigo, Dallas trying to join in. Hasn't managed to get ball on too many occasions tonight, Stuart Dallas. The Northern Irishman conceding possession there. But Newcastle doing the same, although they've won it back again now. Spread by Willock to the right hand side. Manquillo charging forward. Saint-Maximin pops it past Firpo. Manquillo back to Saint-Maximin, but past him and past the line. It's a goal kick.
Good play. Past to Saint-Maximin. It seems that is the game plan, and Manquillo down the right hand side just overhit his pass. But it's end-to-end stuff once again. It's a fantastic game, not as end-to-end as it was in the first half, but there's still time.
I've seen a lot worse Premier League games than this season. This one has surpassed all expectations for me. Here's Longstaff from range, driving in the shot, but spins away past the near post. Had a bit too much fade on it there. Now a play for a goal kick. There's going to be another change here for Leeds. It's going to be an introduction for the Dutch winger Crescencio Somerville. He's receiving the final instructions. He'll be with us in just a couple of minutes.
It's interesting to see even Marcelo Bielsa giving instructions to his substitute. He's got the interpreter there with him, and I know we touched on this before the game. He's been here long enough now, maybe he should learn a little bit of English, but that's the way he is. He's unique, he's a fantastic manager.
he certainly understands it. From what I've read, his understanding of English is pretty sound, but just doesn't feel that he can articulate himself well enough in English just yet, which is fair enough. That's his choice. But I always do wonder, you could perhaps tell me, given the foreign players that you've played with, but that must take a bit off it, especially if you've got a passionate manager in their native language, but they can't convey it in the local language as such. That must detract a bit from what you're trying to do, mustn't it?
A little bit, yeah, especially when you have an interpreter. But look, you said it before the game, I can't speak any other language than English. I can barely speak English, to be honest, but so you can't criticise him for that. But he's been here long enough, and you're an English football club. If you've just learnt a bit, and like you said, I listen to him in interviews, and when his interpreter gets it wrong, he knows he's got it wrong, he corrects him.
Yeah.
So he does understand, but he probably doesn't know enough yet. But he's unique. He's a unique manager, and he's brilliant for it. We all love him for it.
So Somerville has come on here. He's only 19 years old, picked up from Feyenoord in 2020, and he's on for his Premier League debut here at St James's. And he's replaced Rafinha. Is that a surprise for you?
It is actually, yeah. Rafinha was causing a lot of issues down that right-hand side, and scored the fantastic goal. Albeit it was a cross, it ended up going in. So yeah, it's a bit of a surprise for me, but it'd be interesting to see what this 19-year-old can bring into a fast-paced game like this.
Well, he is a right winger. And he comes on here, certainly with a point to prove. And he's got a good amount of time to do it as well. It's not a token couple of minutes or anything like that. So a quarter of this game still to run. Phillips back here to Dallas. To Millier. I think it is to Leeds' credit as well that they haven't totally revamped their side that got them promoted from the Championship, have they?
They haven't. They were good when they were in the Championship. They always play this way, full of energy, full of they always match you for fitness and desire and work rate. And they've got quality as well, and they did show that when they got promoted. And I think Marcelo Bielsa has taken them to that next level. They want to go a lot further. They probably do need to invest a little bit more, but at the moment they're doing well.
Willock in midfield for Newcastle. It was a cracking game between the two at Ellen Road last season that Leeds won 5-2. Bamford, Rodrigo, Dallas, Alioski and Harrison all scoring that day. Steve Bruce's side taken to the cleaners. High ball forward here for Fraser. It drops for Longstaff, who hits it as it sits up for him, but he didn't catch it at all well, and it flies into the Gallagher end.
No, that's two now that he's had from similar distance, one on the floor, one on the volley as this one, and that is extremely disappointing. It's an opportunity that as well. If you hit the target, Mellier's out about 7 yards out from his goal, then just need to loop that over him, but he's blazed it into the Gallagher end, like you said.
Back here from Dallas. Ayling gifts it straight to Joelinton, who runs in off the left-hand side here, the Brazilian. Onto his right boot, goes down inside the penalty area. Maybe just lost his footing in the end. Either way, Leeds back in possession, and it's brought away by Click. Over the halfway line, Rodrigo goes. The ball's onto the right here. I think it goes there now to Roberts. Somerville on the left. It doesn't quite reach him, and it goes past Bamford as well. And Darlow there to pick it up.
Probably have with Joelinton, as we look now, and Ayling won the ball. He won the ball fair and square. He kind of run out of ideas. He gets into them good positions, won the ball back, good position, but kind of run out of ideas and didn't know what to do. He couldn't really pass to no one because no one was up with him, and just fizzled out, and Ayling ended up getting a tackle in.
Such a strange player, isn't he, Joelinton? No one really knows what he is or how he functions, what he's good at. They paid £40 million for this guy.
Yeah, of course, and he's come in with a big price tag, and there was talk of him being the out-and-out striker that they needed, and he's just not. He's not that kind of player. But. Exactly, yeah, and he is. He's one. He's hard to work out.
Here's someone who's not hard to work out. So Maximat driving at the Leeds back line again. He's dispossessed, and they've got 4 ahead of the ball now. Newcastle, some of them there look out on their feet, and Leeds happy to drive forward with numbers. In possession here is Rodrigo. slid forward, Bamford edge of the box. Oh, he's hit it straight at the keeper again. How many times for Leeds? How many opportunities they need to take the lead in this game?
This is the biggest one. This is the one Bamford's been waiting for this whole game. 71 minutes in, he's been waiting for this opportunity to land at him. It's a good pass, good weight of pass, allows him to run across his body and hit first time. No conviction in the effort at all, and he knows it. He's disappointed with that.
Mike Dean halting play here because we have a drop ball that's going to be restarted with here, is it? Not entirely sure why. It drops the ball now to Darlow. Can pick it up and continue.
I must say it was fantastic defending from Leon Cooper there. He had to get that right with Sir Maximin. He was in on goal, and he committed to the challenge, and he won it, and he almost created an opportunity that should have been converted from Bamford.
On the left hand side, Somerville tries to touch it past Manquillo. Manquillo gets it away but puts it out of play, and it's a Leeds United throw. Just to correct the earlier sitting, he's making his full debut tonight. Here's Somerville as Bamford tries to touch one on towards goal, but he's way off target.
Leeds are starting to get a foothold back in this game, and Bamford in particular, 2 chances now. That obviously the last one, the best of the lot. He should be doing better. He'll know that. He's basically just outside the penalty spot. He needs to hit it either side of the goalie, hit it straight at him, and that one gets in front of his man there. Cross comes in and just overhits the shot, goes wide.
Here comes Fraser on the right hand side. St Maximin takes it off here. Down the line to Willock. It goes off Phillips. Willock has kept it in. He could have won a corner there. Back here to Ryan Fraser. Weak effort, well blocked. Comes back out to St Maximin, edge of the area. He gets in the strike. Straight at Meslier. I get the feeling after this I'm going to have some terrible games, because there have been enough chances in this game to win 6 or 7 football matches.
I mean, this is a brilliant football match. It's end-to-end stuff. If you're a manager, you're not saying this is a brilliant football match, but for us, this is outstanding. I think Ryan Fraser should have hit that first time, ended up having a touch, and then that man again, St Maximin, with a big chance.
We'll switch here for Leeds. Somerville, left-hand side, inside the area here, Somerville. He plays it square. Roberts didn't really get the touch he wanted to help it through to Bamford. Newcastle sat in on the edge of their own penalty area here. Click, fouled, caught by Joelinton, and a free kick to Leeds, maybe just within shooting range.
Why not have a go? I mean, I think there's been 10 shots already in this half, 20 in the first half. Brilliant game, end to end. And I keep going back to that one with Bamford. When you're a centre forward, you work hard, you try and create an opening for yourself. He got one, and he fluffed his lines, and he knows it. He'll be disappointed with that when he sees that back.
So free kick here, which Phillips is standing over. Firpo, Somerville off the left hand side, looks a tricky customer. Plays it back left foot, Firpo. He'll struggle to swing a good cross in here. He does get the ball in. It's easily headed away by Lascelles. Back to the edge of the box, Phillips. Bamford's in there. It's towards Bamford now, who goes down inside the area, and Richie's screaming at him. And the two exchanging a few verbals here, because Richie thought that Bamford took a dive.
Again, I think it's for show with players like this, and Bamford saying I didn't take a dive. You see him saying I didn't take a dive. Listen, you have tussles in the box and you end up falling over. It doesn't mean you've dived all the time. Richards took offence to that, and he's let him know in no uncertain terms.
Leeds playing it forward. We have got 15 minutes to go. Free kick on halfway for the visiting side. Ayling absolutely screaming at Mike Dean here as well. He's not happy with the lack of further decision. I don't think he's saying that it was a high boost and deserved a card.
Yeah, I think he's right. He didn't actually connect with the head of Rodrigo, but it was high, it was dangerous. So yeah, I think he's right. The yellow card was probably justified. it would have probably ended up meaning a red, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Rodrigo would have been his second yellow, so potentially could have been harsh, but if that's the laws of the game.
Leeds attacking here, slid forwards to the edge of the box to Rodrigo, tries to swivel and shoot all in one motion, but loses his footing. Again, it's picked up by Darlow. Any guesses to how many shots we've had in this game now, Darren Ambrose?
So there's got to be 30 plus shots.
32.
Wow.
It's got to be some kind of record, surely.
And to only be 1-1 at the time as well. So yeah, I think,
which speaks volumes about the quality of finishing, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Listen, it's been a good game. We keep saying it. It'll be frustrating if someone is a loser in this game, because they've both actually deserved it. They've both had opportunities. Leeds have had more possession, but you've got a strong 15 minutes to go.
Somerville back towards Bamford. At least one of these is still going to be winless in the Premier League after this game. Bamford has gone down here. Both sides have a player injured. Mike Dean not stopping the game though, because the long ball forward towards St Maximin. It doesn't fall for him, it falls for Fraser, who's beetling after it. Back to St Maximin. Midway inside the Leeds half, his switch of play. Nice switch to Joelinton onto his right foot. Here Joelinton, it was behind Longstaff, and frustration for these Newcastle fans who've seen it so many times before. And now Mike Dean stops play because two players are down injured.
Again, Joelinton just kind of runs out of ideas. He doesn't know what to do when he's in that. A good forward-thinking player there will know there's not really an opportunity to pass. Try and create something yourself. Get it onto your good foot and just hit it a goal. If you're having a shot, who knows? It can rebound off someone, it can go in. Just runs out of ideas and doesn't really know what to do.
So a chance for everyone to have a breather here. It's been an energy-sapping game, as they often are with Leeds. Newcastle have had to keep their wits about them at times. Bamford, I think, maybe just twisted his ankle there after an accidental challenge on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, I think you're right. It did look like he just rolled his ankle a little bit. Them little innocuous ones are normally painful, very painful. But like you said, Newcastle, they've more than held their own against this fit, physical side in Leeds, but like we said, it's still a big 11, 12 plus stoppage time to go.
Jeff Hendrick's about to come on, the Ireland international, whose last goal actually came against Leeds in that 5-2 defeat at Ellen Road last year. Do you like Bamford as a striker generally? Just seeing him hobble off the pitch here. I
do. I think he's had a difficult time until he got to Leeds. I know he had a spell at Crystal Palace, didn't quite work out for him. But since he's gone to Leeds, as I said, many of these players they've kind of found a home, and he speaks very highly of Marcelo Bielsa and what he's done to kind of transform his career. He's in the England squad now. He's gained a cap in the England squad. Second season syndrome may come into play with himself and with Leeds, as we've already discussed prior to this match, but I do like him. I think he's one of those forwards that is unselfish, brings players in and pops up with 1 or 2 goals himself.
He's a big fantasy Premier League player. He was talking earlier this week about how he managed to get Ronaldo into his side after he joined from Juventus at the expense of a couple of others.
Yeah, I made that mistake and didn't change Harry Kane for Ronaldo, and it come back to haunt me.
I don't play it myself, but is it your wild card where you can make unlimited transfers?
Yeah, I've already used that after week 1.
Well, he said he used his in week 2, so
brilliant.
Bottled it early doors, didn't have faith in his picks.
Yeah.
There's been a yellow card showed here by the referee Mike Dean. One of the Leeds players just missed who it was, but here comes the first Newcastle change. It's going to be Emil Kraft to come on, and a withdrawal here of Javi Manquillo. So the Swede is introduced. See who Jeff Hendrick replaces here. That yellow card, by the way, for Junior Firpo. High ball forward here. Joelinton nods it on. Inside the area here is Kieran Clark trying to drive a ball across, and he's won a corner. This high octane game is unrelenting in the final stages.
It really is. It could go either way as well. Like I said, it will be frustrating for a team if they end up losing this, but anyone can win this in this last 10 minutes.
Dwight Gale's still on the bench here for Newcastle, by the way. Could he come on and get a goal? And he comes from Ritchie, headed away by Phillips. Cross on the left again by Ritchie. The heads go up. It's Lascelles with a header. Not it towards goal, but comfortably wide.
I think to answer your question, he could. I think Jacob Murphy, Dwight Gale sat on the bench, and I think we heard a bit of frustration once again from the Newcastle supporters because they want to win this game. They feel there's an opportunity to get a victory and 3 points, and Emil Kraft comes on. It's not a disrespect to Emil Kraft and Jeff Hendrick. They're not really game-changing players. They're not players that are going to win you the game. I could be corrected. Hopefully I eat my words here. But when you've got players like that on the bench and you're bringing on, it looks a little bit negative.
Roberts on the left for Leeds United, near the corner flag. Onto his left foot, drives a low ball in. Trying to get there was Click. It's away by Hayden. You can hear the cries of concentrate and switch on from the dugout there. That is what is required in the final 7 and a bit minutes. Into the area here is Rodrigo for Leeds. Tries to get a shot in, which is blocked. And a header missed by Ayling on the halfway line, presented to Saint-Maximin. Down the right hand side, the angle's tight. It's not tight anymore. Saint-Maximin saved by Meslier. It had plenty of power, it had plenty of pace. Just couldn't quite squeeze it inside the post.
As we've said many times, a yard either side, it's a goal. A yard either side, and it's Newcastle 2-1 coming into the last 5 minutes. It's that man again, misplaced header from Ayling. Try to capitalise on it. It's a good save. Mellier's done well so far. He's been very good, and he's stood up to everything that's thrown at him apart from the goal.
Rodrigo, edge of the box here for Leeds. Referee tells him to get to his feet. It looks as though he was caught from behind, but he wasn't in the end. Down the right hand side it goes here, and a free kick against Saint-Maximin for a challenge, and he can't believe the ref's call.
Still looks fresh, Saint-Maximin. He still looks fresh. He looks like he could still be the match winner for Newcastle. It's a foul. As we see this chance of his, he cuts inside Ayling onto his left foot, just hits it straight at Meslier, who's up to the challenge.
I just get the feeling this ball's going to drop for someone in these final minutes. It's either going to be a goal for Newcastle, which is going to get this place absolutely bouncing, or a goal for Leeds, which is going to crush the atmosphere around it.
Yeah, it will get very nasty, I think, if it's Leeds, if it goes Leeds' way. But it'll be extremely harsh on Newcastle if it does. Leeds have done well, of course, yes. But I think the second half Newcastle have edged it. I think they've edged this second half, whereas Leeds edged the first half, and they just need something to fall in the right place to the right person, and at the moment it's looking like Saint-Maximin could be the right person that it falls to.
Do you know what, you're absolutely right, because football fans, they ride the roller coaster, don't they? If they win, they're on top of the world, it's the best thing that's ever happened. If they lose, the manager should go. When in reality, it's been a pretty even game. As you say, Newcastle maybe have edged it, and if they lose it in the last minute, it doesn't mean they've played particularly badly. They've lost their game fine, but if they put in good enough performances like this throughout the season, they'll pick up enough points, won't they?
Of course they will. If they play like this all season, they definitely will. They'll be okay, and it's horrible to say a club like Newcastle are just looking to be okay, and that's the frustration. That's what the supporters are saying. They want to be a club pushing on a little bit, be a bit proud of trying to challenge for stuff, and if they play like this, though, they will. But what it's like when it's toxic at the football club, which it seems to be at the moment. If Leeds are to score, then I think they'll forget how well they played and just vent their anger.
"36 attempts on goal tonight, 15 on target. And there's still time
incredible
left. Yeah. Yeah, I think on the face of it, if you've gone out tonight and looked at your phone to see the score and you see it's 1-1, you think, not too interested in the highlights of that, when in reality you could have a whole 90-minute show on this one.
Yep.
Somerville. Firpo. Inside to Phillips. Just inside the Newcastle half here. Now to Dallas on the right. Down the line towards Roberts. It was that outball, wasn't it, that they had in Rafinha in the first half that was their big positive lead, but obviously they took him off and they don't really have that anymore, and they took James off on the other side as well. Roberts and Somerville coming into the side doesn't quite have the same dynamic.
Yeah, they've been straight into it, particularly Tyler Roberts, but yeah, it was a strange one taking off Rafinha for me, unless there was an injury that we don't know about. It seems strange because he was the one that was making them tick.
Newcastle down the left hand side. Joe Ellington gets to the byline. It's put out of play by Phillips. Corner ball. 88th minute here at St James's.
What a time this would be for Newcastle to score. And like we said, they have matched Leeds for their fitness, for their physicality all game. And I said Leeds will continue to keep going. I mean, Ayling there, he's hobbling. It's looking like they're feeling it a little bit, Leeds, and Newcastle are finishing strong.
Jamie Shackleton's about to come on for Leeds, not before this corner though. Fans on their feet. Ritchie delivers high towards Lascelles again. He nods it towards goal, but Meslier comes together and again looks for that ball out. He's looking all around him, he's looking who he can play. In the end he just drops the ball at the feet of Junior Firpo. Somerville inside to Phillips. Plays it to Rodrigo. Dallas takes it on. Click off him. Roberts now wide right. Some fans heading for home. I wouldn't go yet. Into the boxes. Click. Curling one. It was a tame effort. Caught by Darlow.
Yeah, at last it was a tame effort. It was one of those that it was easy for Darlow, but I mean, they just showed a clip, and you Steve Bruce, Marcelo Bielsa on the edge of their technical areas, willing their players on. I think they both see a potential 3 points here.
Yeah, Ayling feeling some pain. Just at the top of his kneecap by the looks of things.
He's done well, Ayling. He's fit in very well at centre half. Like I said, it did take a little bit away from Leeds down the right hand side, but he has slotted in. It's been a solid performance, and it's disappointing to see him hobble off now after a good game.
Yeah, but he makes his way off, and Shackleton will be the man to replace him for these final couple of minutes. Just wait to see how Leeds are going to change their shape here. Final 50 seconds of normal time. Have we had too many stoppages in this second half? I'm not sure we have, apart from the subs. That one injury stoppage where Bamford clashed with someone. Apart from that, I don't think there'll be anything major added on.
I don't want it to end, to be honest. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Clark for Newcastle, looking long. It goes low into Fraser, who is manhandled on the halfway line by who is it? Junior Firpo. He's already been yellow carded, and he runs away from the scene here, and Newcastle screaming at the referee to say, look, get your yellow card out again. I have to say, is that a yellow card offence?
100%.
Ritchie was away, and he's
100%. That's a yellow card, exactly as you've called it there. He's turned back foot, turned him, and he's pulled him down. He's stopped the counter attack. That's a yellow card.
Joe Ellington going off. On in his place is Jacob Murphy. Still no way for Dwight Gale to get in the side, yet to feature this season. 4 minutes of added time. Still think we're going to get a third goal. Newcastle with the free kick forward here. It's not going to come from this play though, as it flies past the cells and out of play. The goal kick to Leeds. Time is fast running out. We've nearly played a minute of the forward already. Man of the match, St Maximin, for you tonight?
I think so, yeah. It's been at the heart of everything good of what Newcastle have produced. There's been some good performance. I think Rafinha, if he managed to stay on, he'd have been in with a shout because he was brilliant for Leeds. But St Maximin's just exciting. He gets bums off seats. You know, he's given these Newcastle supporters some hope this season already, and yeah, he would be man of the match for me as well.
He's had the most shots of anyone, 5 shots, 4 of those have been on target. He's run 34 miles an hour, 17 sprints. He's earned his money, hasn't he?
He really has.
Scored the goal as well.
And there's still time, there's still 2.5 minutes maybe to go. See if someone can conjure up a winner.
Somerville. Will Leeds, though, overall be kicking themselves? They didn't have this one sewn up before half time.
I think so, yeah. I think they had best of the opportunities in the first half an hour, 35 minutes. Put a few tame efforts that they should have done better with. But then if you think back to some of the chances Newcastle had, with Joe Ellington hitting it straight at Melier, Matt Ritchie hitting the post, Joe Ellington having a few opportunities, they've had their fair share as well, Newcastle.
Phillips. High to the right hand side. Ritchie judged it well to nod clear. Click. Towards Roberts. Leeds lacking that quality now. There are some tired bodies out there. It has been a helter-skelter, up and down, all over the place game. Rodrigo. Edge of the Leeds, the Newcastle penalty area rather. It's going to drop, and it nearly came through to Roberts. Claims of handball against Ritchie. Nothing doing from the referee. And now Murphy, the substitute, with a burst of pace over halfway. He's gone past 3 already. On the left-hand side, he's going past Shackleton now into the penalty area. In the end, Phillips able to guide it back to Melier. And away to Roberts on the halfway line. He was caught from behind. No free kick. We've got 65 seconds left at St James's in this first Premier League game of the weekend. It's carried forward here by Click, who's dropped into the back line. Click on the centre circle. Square here for Shackleton. Dallas. Right hand side is Roberts. Plays a quick high ball forward, but it'll go through to Darlow. 40 seconds left, and I think Darlow was maybe going to take the pace out of the game there for a second, but then realised that Newcastle need to win it.
There's some tired bodies out there, you can see all over the pitch, and I'll be probably commentator's curse. I'll be surprised if this doesn't end 1-1 now, because there are a lot of tired bodies.
Well, we've only got 15 seconds left. There's a fair chance it will, I think.
Took a gamble. Unless
Leeds do something magical from this free kick, which they are going to take short, and they have taken short here into Matthäus Klick. Somerville. 3, 2, 1. Mike Dean hasn't checked his watch yet. Leeds still trying to find a way forward. Shackleton to the right hand side. Tyler Roberts back to Shackleton. Leeds have got to get it forward here, or Mike Dean's going to blow. With 15 seconds over time. Klick on the left hand side. Somerville. Firpo. Somerville. Firpo. Somerville. All on the edge of the penalty area here. Still Somerville. Still Mike Dean hasn't blown. It's into the box. Junior Firpo down the left hand side. Drives a low ball in. Oh, and it's well cleared away. Still a chance here for Leeds. Somerville high towards the far post. Out it goes, and that might be that. Well, again, how have Leeds not scored there?
I tell you what, that would have probably summed up Newcastle's season so far, probably Steve Bruce's career at Newcastle. That 4 minutes added time and a 45 seconds after stoppage time, they almost scored.
Full time. What a pulsating game of Premier League football here at St James's. It ends 1-1. It could have been 101. A bonkers game. Chances all over the place. It bounced from end to end. Steve Bruce gets a point. Both sides still winless this season. And, well, I think they'll both be happy with the point in different respects, won't they? Darren Ambrose, but an opportunity missed for both.
Of course, like we said, Leeds started the brighter in the first half. They edged it, but Newcastle come out fighting after the goal just before half-time from St Maximin. They come out fighting and they edged the second half. I think it's a fair result in the end. I think 1-1. If someone would have lost that game, they'd have been frustrating. But what a start to the weekend's football, because that was an outstanding game.
It was. And Newcastle next on the road at Watford and Wolves. 2 games again they may look at. I think they can get something from. Leeds in Carabao Cup action in the week for successive home games against West Ham and Watford. What is St Maximin thinking walking off the pitch here? It was on his shoulders, wasn't it, in the second half?
Yeah, I think he'll be frustrated. I think, like I said, during the game, he seems a joy to manage because he doesn't seem like he does get frustrated. But you have to be. When you're the main man and you keep putting in these performances week on week and not getting the victories, he's got a shaking his head a little bit there. There's going to be some kind of frustration. But he was brilliant again. He was outstanding. But these teams, both of them, Leeds and Newcastle, have to find a way of winning, and it's not happening yet.
Do you think Leeds can get something against West Ham next week? Have had a good start to the season?
On that showing, I think so, yeah. I think they show energy, they show commitment, desire. It's just that little bit of luck, that little bit of quality in front of goal. They had enough opportunities, particularly in the first half. But as you said, West Ham have started the season